Hello there, Tina Spalding, Trance Channel here again. I am doing Course in Miracles lessons, daily videos to support your practice in 2019. So today we're going to do lesson 4, and after the lesson Jesus will channel and give us some support for these transformative practices. So lesson 4, I'm going to read you the text as it appears in the workbook. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. In these practice periods, begin with noting the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts you think are bad. You will find, if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, that they represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them could be called good or bad. That is why they do not mean anything. In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad thoughts. None of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones are but shadows of what lie beyond, and shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You do not want it either. This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps towards the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside you and the meaningful within. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize that what is the same and what is different. In using your thoughts for application of the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, the thought about blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room, on this street, and so on. You can also use the idea for a particular thought that you recognize as harmful. This practice is useful, but it is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. Further, since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult. Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later. So that is lesson 4. Once again, I'll just recap it. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Lesson 4. So now I will channel Jesus and see what he has to say about lesson 4. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and we are pleased that you have made it to day 4. This is no small feat when you consider that the part of your mind that you know as yourself is not interested in this process. And this is something that you are going to encounter. You are going to encounter an aspect of your mind that argues with what you, in your attempt at consciousness evolution, are trying to do. You will begin to hear a voice in your mind, perhaps, or get feelings of resentment or resistance to doing these lessons. It is very important at this early stage, when you are a brand new baby novice at this mind training business, that you understand that the larger part of your consciousness has no interest in spiritual evolution or consciousness expansion. In fact, it is absolutely against doing it. Why is this so? Well, you have chosen to come into separation. You have chosen to come into this place that is so profoundly lacking love. And your body and your individual appearance is a demonstration, a physical demonstration of your consciousness's belief in individuality and separation. And in that individuality and separation, you have been further trained by your society to feed that part of you. So when you are asked to do things that go against your society's training, that well-fed and loud and obnoxious at times part of your mind that is used to having things its way will not be happy at all. So just as somebody who is newly going to the gymnasium to try and improve their fitness, 3 or 4 days in, the muscles are complaining, and the mind of the being who is trying to improve their fitness realizes that this is going to be a little more difficult than they thought. This is when the decision that you have made to do this year-long study is really important to call back up, because you have made that decision based on evidence that the way your mind works and the way you do things is not bringing you what you want. And that has not changed on day 4, has it, dear ones? You have not suddenly started to live a life that you want. You have still got the same evidence speaking to you that you had on the beginning of this journey. So do not back out now. Do not sabotage yourself now and say, oh, I can't do this. This is too much bother. Go back to that decision that you made that said, there must be a better way than what I am doing. And you must understand that your behavior comes from your feelings and thoughts, and your feelings and thoughts come from what you believe to be true about the world. And if your beliefs about reality and the world and what you are and who you are and why you're here are incorrect, then your behaviors are not going to serve you, because they are based on untruth. So on day 4, recalibrate yourself to align with that decision. I am going to do the year-long practice of A Course in Miracles, and I'm going to observe when my mind argues, or a part of my mind argues, because there is a part of my mind that's curious about what's going to happen, that wants to do these lessons. But there seems to be another part of my mind that is not so happy about it. I am going to step back from being deeply involved and engaged with both of those aspects, and I'm going to observe and say, I have made a decision. I'm going to stick by that decision to do the lessons of A Course in Miracles, to see what happens, to see if there is a transformation in my life that is discernible and quantifiable. So we are here with you. And when I say we, on this side of the veil, there is much less separation than on your side. And so we work as a collective, many ascended master teachers, but this particular project is mine. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I'm happy that you joined us today. And we are looking forward to joining with you tomorrow. We will speak to you again soon. Okay. That's day 4. Bye.